So good morning or good night, depending on where you are, and welcome to another video of the Shield Dude on a couch. And today I'm gonna do my first ranking with the tier list. So this is the first time that I'm gonna do this. I haven't done this, so bear with me. So what better band that to start with that with a band that I love, and that's the Deftones. So here we have all of the Deftones albums, including the covers album. So I'm going to rank them, but I'm going to change this ranking. So instead of S tier, it's going to be called Chino Licious, because as you all may know, if you've seen my videos, I'm very obsessed with Chino Moreno. I'm thinking he may have a restraining order against me if we meet sometime, but I'm just obsessed with the man. Anything he touches for me turns gold. So instead of a S tier, it's going to be a Chino Licious. So the second tier, instead of A, is going to be fucking Deftones-tastic, for fantastic for short. Then instead of B tier, we're going to have solid Deftones. Then instead of the C tier, we're going to have here, let's say, they're dipping a little bit because I love Deftones. So what would that tier be? Like maybe, I know, maybe more leaning to new metal Deftones. And then the last one would be, so more leaning to new metal Deftones. What would the last one be? Let's see. Okay, if it's really bad, it's going to be, it sounds like Crazy Town. If you all remember, Crazy Town was a very crappy new metal band that had that Butterfly song, and yeah, they sucked. So these are the categories: Shinolicious, fucking Deftones-tastic, solid Deftones, more leaning to new metal Deftones, and it sounds like Crazy Town. So here we have the album. So I'm going to, I should start with their first album, so Adrenaline. So let me say that I wasn't a huge fan of Adrenaline when it came out. I listened to it afterward, and you know, this is one of the albums for Deftones that really sounds more new metal to me. So yeah, it's good, but it's not an album that I go back to a lot. So I would put this one right here, more leaning to new metal Deftones. And I remember when they came out, I think I said this in a video, they were compared to Korn, so they were called Baby Korn. So yeah, that album would go there. So the second album, obviously, Around the Fur, is the album that I really got more into Deftones. I remember seeing the music video for my own summer shove it, and just that image of them playing and the shark in the water, I just thought it kicked ass. And I remember that song was in the Crow soundtrack, I think for the second movie for the Crow, and I listened to them there, and that's what's my initial initiation to the band. But I didn't get this album. I think someone copied it for me, and now I have it in vinyl. And I just love the cover. There's something with Deftones and women on the cover, I tell you. And this album for me goes in fucking Deftones-tastic. You know, it's not quite at Shinolicious. Like that Shinolicious is like a god tier for me, but it's really quite up there. I know a lot of people would put it in their top, but I think even though this album is amazing, there are better Deftones albums. So let's go now with the third album, White Pony. And what can you say about White Pony? You know, I even did a video for White Pony for the anniversary with JC Rock and Metal reviews, and we praised it because, you know, to me, it's an essential album. It's the album that made me fall in love with the Deftones. To me, when they put out this album, they did more experimentation, they changed, and they went out of the comfort zone. And that's why this album to me goes straight up to Shinolicious. You know, like this is just a perfect, flawless album. I have it on vinyl for the special edition, and it just sounds so good that it has to be way up at the top. So after this, we would have the self-titled with Skull album that came in 2003. And I enjoyed this album. It's not easy to follow up White Pony by any means, but still a very solid album. So I would say this one, the self-titled, goes in solid Deftones. Yeah, it's solid, but it's not fucking fantastic. But yeah, I would put it up there. So after this album, the next album is Saturday Night Wrist, which I also have it on vinyl right here, as you can see. And this is an album that at first when it came out, there was a lot of turmoil in the band, and people thought that, you know, that it didn't sound as great as other albums. But as the years have gone by, I have really fell in love with this album. I think Saturday Night Wrist is very experimentational, and it's a very sexy record. And you know, I actually like this album. Back like a few years ago when it came out, I would put it like a solid, but the years have passed and I really love this album. So it's in fucking Deftones-tastic. I don't care what people say. I think Saturday Night Race is super underrated and I love it. Obviously, it's not as great as their second album, but yeah, it's very up there. So moving on. After this album, obviously we all know what happened with Deftones. Chi Cheng went in a coma. They were recording Eros that never came out. So they hired Sergio Vega, and in 2010 they come back super strong with Diamond Eyes. And to me, Diamond Eyes is one of my favorite Deftones albums, and it goes in the Shinalicious category. Obviously, it does not top White Pony by a little bit, but it's actually my second favorite Deftones record. And I'll tell you why. You know, this is an album that really, really, in all cylinders, they were good. The music was fantastic. And maybe a lot of people were counting Deftones off after Saturday Night Wrist and Chi Cheng. But they came back so strong with this album that until this day, I love it. I have it on vinyl as well, and it's just great. The songs you've seen, The Butcher, and others, you know, out of the top of my mind, I forgot the songs, but it's so good. And yeah, Sex Tape, for example, you know, every song on this album is solid. And I really love Diamond Eyes, the starter, how it, you know, it starts, and it's, you know, it's an album that really solidified Deftones like second era after Chi Cheng, and that's why I have it at Shinalicious. So after this, they came back really quickly with Kwai no Yokan, and even though Kwai no Yokan is really good, actually I like it, but I don't like love it. But I still think it's a fucking Deftones-tastic record. But I would put it actually, I think when the years have passed, I think I enjoy more Saturday Night Wrist for some extent. I don't know why, but I do. So it goes in fucking Deftones-tastic. So I know that the next studio album was Gore, but let's talk about the covers albums that they have. So they have the one with the black cover, and then they have the other ones. With this covers album, I think this one, for example, I would put very solid. You know, it has some great covers, especially Drive, and it has the Sade cover as well. The black one with the covers, you know, I think there's some covers and there's some different songs there, but I actually like this one better than this one. So still solid. So I would put it right here. So now we're going to to Gore, which is an album for Deftones that was very controversial. Controversial because there was like Stephen Camperter wasn't as involved with the writing process. So it's more of like a Chino Moreno album. When I did my top albums of that year, that I did a top 25, that album got to my top 25, but like a number 24 or 23, which is the lowest that I have ranked a Deftones record. But Is it that bad that I would compare it to Crazy Town? Fuck no. I would never do that. And it's not leaning to new metal Deftones. I would just say that it's an album that it's solid. I actually like Gore more than their first album, so I'm gonna put it right here. And finally, Ohms in 2020. This album is an album that is really good. I think they took part of every like aspect of Deftones' careers and they put it on this album because there's parts here from White Pony. There's parts from a little not from Adrenaline that much, but from Around the Fur. You have some of the sounds of Kwai no Yokan with Saturday Night Wrist and obviously Diamond Eyes, and maybe not much from Gore, but it has from all their eras. And I think it's a solid album. Is it solid? I would say, is it fucking Deftones-tastic? No, no. I think it's solid, almost there. But I actually like it more than the Skull album, so I would put it right here. So it's almost a fucking Deftones-tastic, but just by a little bit shy. So there you have it. That's my ranking for the tier list for the Deftones album. So what did you think of these rankings? Do you agree with me? Did you like the quirky names that I came up with the tier list? Comment. I would really want to know. So again, if you like the videos that I'm putting out, do not forget to subscribe and do not forget to give me a like. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield on a Couch, and I'll see you right here again for another tier list album ranking. Thank you and good night.